During today's Nintendo Partner Direct, there was another broadcast happening concurrently that was perhaps more exciting for many, and that was the Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance Spotlight. This was broadcast on Atlus Tube and Sega Asia, and it was a 25-minute presentation all about this new release. Now, I will be linking that original video down below if you do want to check it out, but here I wanted to give you a quick rundown of everything we do now know about this expanded release. Now, if you do enjoy this video, subscribe, it helps out the channel a huge amount as we are pushing for 60,000 subscribers and we are so very close. So first off, right away, the game will no longer be exclusive to Nintendo Switch. This release arrives June 21st and it will drop on all platforms. That's Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Now for those that may not know, I do want to give a quick summary, but Shin Megami Tensei V is quite honestly a masterpiece, and I did name it my game of the year. So story-wise, we are a senior high school student who experiences a life-altering event when we are trapped in a tunnel collapse. Now this event leads us to awaken in a version of Tokyo that's been transformed into a post-apocalyptic wasteland. In this new reality, we meet a mysterious being and fuse together to take on the form of a demigod known as a Nahobino. With our new form, we head into battle against demons. This is to basically fight for the future of our world. It is dark and incredibly adult stuff, and it is just great to see it back. It's also famous then for inspiring the Persona and Devil Summoner series, which were both spin-offs, and it also features an incredible combat system known as press turn. It's basically the idea that actions consume a number of turns, and hitting weaknesses rewards more of these. It is one of my favourite turn-based systems. So let's get into the good stuff, where this release differs, and first of all, from the original base game, it is immediately apparent. On booting up the game, we're actually now going to be presented with two paths. It's going to be Canon of Creation and Canon of Vengeance. Now, Creation is the original game, while Vengeance follows that same scenario, but they've promised massive changes in the middle and latter stages of the story. Both also have entirely different endings, which is a nice touch. It would be disappointing to go through all of that work to be rewarded with what you've seen before. They also revealed then that there's 4 brand new female demons that will appear in the Vengeance path. Now, not a huge amount was given about them, but it seems some will be against us, others will partner with us, and one group is an organization protecting God's orders. They've also updated the world, and it seems this carries over to the base game. The world's been refined, there's a new dungeon, and there's also additional quests. They also touched on some areas that may be seeing changes. Think new unique skills for allied demons and new features to improve the strategy of battle. It was kind of tough at times to figure out what's new and what are they simply restating is a feature of SMTV, because obviously now it's going to new platforms, they almost need to reintroduce it. One thing seems clear, however: battle with demons you never have before, as it appears the secrets to uncover. They also promised 40 new demons, which sounds like a decent chunk, but it does appear many of these will actually be carryovers from SMT 3 and 4. Quality of life updates then also appear to be a big focus with this release, and while the majority was left down to a statement of stay tuned for more information in the lead up to launch, we did hear that the auto battle features have been fine-tuned to cater to those that may not want the level of challenge, because it's definitely not an easy game. They also touched on the runtime of the package, and it's kind of wild. The original game itself was roughly 80 hours, and this promises an additional 80-hour playthrough. That's totaling 160 hours, and you could easily get way more out of it. Then when it comes to the release, and I will say here the following details were specifically for the Japanese release, but I think it's fair to say we'll most likely see something similar, if not the same, in the West, and that is there's going to be a standard edition and a digital deluxe edition. Now the digital deluxe will be the full game as well as the DLC. Now first off, right off the bat, there's going to be 2 new DLC packs. One is a demon from SMT4, while the other is a completely new edition. All previous DLC then will also be included. That's Return of the True Demon, The Doctor's Last Wish, The Rage of a Queen, and A Goddess in Training. Pre-ordering the game then, either the standard edition or digital deluxe, will give you 2 sacred treasure chests. This includes the glam grenade, and a bead to recover HP in battle. The last note on the release then was the fact if you do own the previous release, you can carry over the data of up to 3 demons to the compendium, and you'll also receive previous play bonuses. Now again, this portion was specifically addressing the Japanese release, but I see no reason why we wouldn't get all of this. One thing I am seeing here though is the note on the, if you own the previous release, you can carry data over. It does suggest we're potentially not going to see any sort of upgrade path. Aside from that, they did wrap up with an interview from the director, and to summarize, the interview highlights the developer's previous involvement with the series, specifically SMTV as an event planner and scenario writer. They actually discussed as well the development of SMTV, mentioning the abundance of creative ideas from different teams and the disappointment of not being able to implement all of these ideas. That's kind of what fueled the development of SMTV Vengeance. They also wanted to touch on the narrative as well in Vengeance. They were exploring the dynamic between the Snake God and the Bull God, delving into mythology and the concept of revenge. They really kind of emphasized the importance here of demons in the franchise, and they wanted to enhance their presence both as navigators and through interactive gameplay elements in Vengeance. They also expressed a dedication to meeting fan expectations and ensuring that both newcomers and returning players will find SMTV Vengeance a rewarding experience packed with new features, quests and story. And realistically, they were always going to say that because they do want you to part with your cash. And that's the interview wrapped up at a very high level, but I think my big takeaway from this presentation is it's bigger than perhaps the trailer in the direct led me to believe, or at least that was the case for me. I expected it to be almost a paid DLC, but it sounds like there might not be an upgrade route, as I said, or at least it wasn't mentioned at all in this presentation, and the wording of if you own the past game, you get these bonuses very much suggests that's not the case. Atlus are also somewhat notorious for taking that direction at times, but if anything, this almost sounds like what Persona 5 Royal was to the original Persona 5, but on perhaps even a bigger scale. Really makes me want to go back and play it again, honestly, but I think I'll wait now for the changes that do carry over to that new release. So what does everyone think? Will you be picking this up? Do you want to see an upgrade path, or are you happy to part with $60 or so to dive back in with the changes and that new path option? Do you like the idea of the new features and storyline as well, or were you content with the arc that the original release gave you? I think that's going to be a big part of it for many. I personally don't think I can resist more SMT, but I do think if there's no upgrade path, I'm going to be jumping to one of the other platforms. This world is stunning, and I'd love to now see it in 4K with a locked frame rate and no doubt generally better performance. This is one of the games I would love to see on the Switch 2 or Pro or whatever they call it in the future. So I'm actually kind of hoping here there's backwards compatibility, because I don't want to be on the hook for another $60 in, let's say, 12 or 24 months. With that then, hit subscribe if you did enjoy the video. Is this one you are excited for? And did you play the base game already? If not, is this release, this new, let's call it version, is it enough to tempt you to come in and play it June when it finally releases? With that, thank you very much all for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.